Howdy, folks. I'm carnivorous Cain's Veneticide, cruelly chasing cute chipmunks.
I'm Amber.
And here are more cute chipmunks for us to chase.
No.
Because we are the dogs of Booth.
Don't chase the chipmunks. They don't deserve it.
Don't worry. We'll only chase them a little bit. Let's get started. Amber's only saying that because she's a chipmunk at heart.
Probably. I actually thought about saying, and I'm definitely not a chipmunk.
Amber's like, no one's here but us not chipmunks.
Yes.
Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Wanting to Accept an Inheritance That My Mom Disapproves of? I'm in a complex family situation and could really use some judgment here to make sure that I'm not going crazy. I'm a 26-year-old woman who recently found out that my great aunt, who is a professional poker player, left me $700,000 in her will. This sum is just a portion of a much larger estate. However, there's a catch. My mom is against gambling in all forms and is furious that the money comes from what she considers an unethical source. So she is against it and is now saying that I shouldn't accept the inheritance. What's more, she hinted that she believes that the money should go to her instead, arguing that she can put it to better use and sanitize it by investing it in the family. Which sounds like total BS, by the way. To give some more context, my mom is in her 50s and has always been vocal about her disapproval of my aunt's job. She sees this inheritance as not just unearned, but morally tainted. On my end, I see a chance to clear my student debt, secure a financial future, buy a house, and yes, help my family out, my mom included, in significant ways. I've suggested compromises like donating a portion to charity, but my mom insists it's all or nothing. Either I refuse the entire inheritance or I'm acting against her wishes. It feels like a no-win situation where I'm being asked to choose between financial stability and my relationship with my mom, which is normally great. We are best friends, and this is really hurting me. So am I a jerk for wanting to accept the inheritance despite how it was earned and my mom's strong feelings on the matter? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk and accept that inheritance. If the mom was really against this money, she wouldn't be trying to take it. The fact that she's like, well, I can take it and sanitize it. No, that's BS. She wants the money. And yeah, take that money, OP. You're the one who deserves it because you haven't spent your entire life bashing your great aunt.
Yeah, I think that your mom is jealous more than anything. This seems like a real kind of jealousy thing, and where she thinks that she deserves this money or she feels like she can make better use of it. But the thing is that your aunt decided to give it to you for a reason, and you have to consider that. She wanted you to have this money to do with what as you pleased, and she wanted that for a reason. And I think in some respects, she didn't want your mom to have it for other reasons, right? So if you were to give this money to your mom, you would be really going against your aunt's wishes. That would actually, I think, be unfortunate and regretful. Now, as for whether or not your mom can put it to better use, I don't think that really matters here. Your mom can either be happy for you or she can be petty and ignore you. And that's not you doing that, that's her doing that. So no matter what emotional blackmail she's trying to use against you, don't listen to that. She is just being manipulative. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Knitted Jedi says, my mom insists it's all or nothing. On the slim chance that this is real and not rage bait, stop letting your mother think that she gets a say in what you do with the money. And OP replies, I totally agree with all the comments here. I'm just saddened and worried about losing the relationship I have with my mom. And Brian 57831 says, not the jerk, your mom sounds jealous that it was left to you and not her. Ignore your mom and pay off your bills. Make sure to put some away for retirement. It sounds like a lot, but really it isn't. And OP replies, thanks. I should really talk with a financial planner. Time to get looking. Yes, absolutely, OP.
Yeah, because like that commenter said, it may feel like a lot if you don't have a lot of money, but it's easy to go through money once you have it.
Yeah, I mean, you pay off student loans, you pay taxes on that, you pay for a house, you've got nothing left, right? Depending on your student loans. But half of that's going to go to taxes. But yeah, it's not going to be a huge amount of money. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Offering My Wife a Loan? I'm a 35-year-old male, and I am married to my wife Ava, a 30-year-old female of 10 years. And I love her very much, and we have a good marriage, but recently a pretty big issue came up. Ava has a dog that's pushing 14 years old. She got him as a puppy in high school. and she's always treated him like her child. We have been holding off on having kids for so long, partly because I know that she will give the dog more attention than our real baby. Anyways, this dog has some health issues because it's an older one and it's a breed predisposed to certain health issues already. It's on death's door, but Ava won't let him go. She took him to the emergency vet a week ago, and they convinced her to let them do all these tests and procedures to help him live longer. I think that they're just trying to profit off of her grief. And the bill came out to several $1,000s. My wife makes decent money, but she cannot afford to pay the bill without either going into serious debt or dipping into her personal savings or retirement. For some context before I continue, Ava and I agreed prior to marriage that we would have separate finances. We would open an account where we can both equal contribute for our shared bills, but anything personal, clothes, cars, etc., or maintenance of premarital assets or debt would be paid from our own money. Ava's dog, of course, was a premarital item, so financing him is 100% her responsibility. She signed a prenup agreement with me agreeing on these terms. Now, as a result of the financial strain of the dog putting on her, she has come to me asking that we split the vet bill with her since I could easily cover it. I reminded her of our prenup, which is where things got very heated and she called me selfish, cheap, and greedy. I did not snap at her in return, as that behavior is childish, and I understood that she was very emotionally distressed right now. Instead, I offered her a loan to cover the entire bill at a 6% interest rate, with 3 years to pay me back starting at the end of next month. She called me a few other names and said that the fact that I was offering her a loan when I could just help her pay was terrible. I decided to leave the vet clinic and give her some space, and waited for her to calm down and to see reason. She got back the next day only to tell me that she was going to be staying at her mother's house for a while. She insists that I acted poorly, but I think that I did the best that I could in this situation. Was I the jerk here? Alright folks, what do you think?
Oh my goodness, yes, OP. I mean, talk about profiting off of grief. He's like complaining about the vet, but then he's like, yeah, let me charge you 6% interest on a 3-year loan.
Yeah. Like, I do think that OP is kind of doing exactly what he's claiming that the people are doing here, right?
Like, are you in a partnership or a business transaction?
It sounds more like a business transaction. And I mean, I can certainly understand maybe the loan part, but a 0% interest rate, right? Like, just being like, well, we'll pay for this and we'll work out how to sort out paying it back later. I would understand that a little bit more. I still think that he should be a better partner and potentially help out, right?
Right. Well, that's the thing. And it's very clear he resents the dog because it has the audacity to keep living and not die conveniently for him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad they have not had children, and I hope that she gets out of this relationship because it's very clear that he doesn't like the dog. He just wants the dog dead. He doesn't care about how devastating that's going to be for her because he just wants to hurry up and make babies.
Well, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he's made this choice that she's going to not be a good mother because she's taking care of a dog that's older. I don't know about that. I think that that's a really odd take on his part.
It is. It is. Like, you can take care of pets and children at the same time.
Yeah.
But, he's not being a good partner here. He's not being supportive. It sounds like he has the finances to help out. And I feel like it's a life or death situation for this poor animal. I think it's so cruel to see your partner suffering and to be like, yeah, let me just profit off of you. 6% interest, that sounds great.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't sit well with me. I can certainly understand the hesitation about spending a lot of money on a pet, and I do understand that hesitation, right? Because, like, medical bills can add up very quickly. And also, you have to consider the quality of life of the animal, whether or not this is putting them through needless suffering or whatnot, too. And because animals can't really make those choices. And there's some really difficult questions that you have to ask yourself about the quality of life of animals, right? But it doesn't sound like he's even concerned about that.
Mm-mm.
He's just concerned about the cost and how much it's going to be inconveniencing him to have to pay for this. So I think that he really needs to do some reflection and figure out what his priorities are. Or is his priorities to help his wife be a happy individual, or is it to profit off of his wife's grief? I don't know. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck.
To his wife.
To his wife. And Lyrical Llama says, "You're the jerk. You think that the animal hospital is trying to profit off of her grief. You offered her a loan with interest, for goodness sake." And OP replies, "I offered her a loan with interest because the bill is over $13,000. Banks around us would charge her more, but that's not the point."
You're not a bank. Like, again, this sounds like a business transaction.
Yeah, I have to make sure that I'm going to get the money out of my wife, right? Come on, guy. Come on. Again, 0% interest if you really want to loan her a loan, right? Don't worry about making money off of your wife. And Kantar says, "Dude, she's your wife. I can understand wanting her to pay you back, but interest? Did you miss the part where you're married to her? Do you even like her? That is the question."
Yeah.
And Lyrical Llama says, "Most people would sit down with their spouse and tell them, honey, they're taking advantage of you. The dog is 14. You have to ask how many quality years they have left before the test to run." But this conversation doesn't seem to have happened. Seems like OP sent his grieving and desperate wife alone to the vet and told her, "Do whatever you want. You know it's your financial responsibility, whatever you do." And OP replies, "That's not what happened. I have been telling my wife gently to let the dog go for a past couple of years. She took him to the vet while I was at work without informing me beforehand. Not that I was expecting her to. She is a grown woman. And this is the first that I heard about all of this after she got the bill."
But has there been anything medically wrong with the dog, or does Opie just want the dog gone because it's old and inconvenient to him?
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, "I am a 37-year-old male, and my wife, a 34-year-old female, lied, got caught, and then lied on top of that lie. I'll make this short. My wife, a 34-year-old female, and I, a 37-year-old male, have been married for 5 months. I knew that she was married once prior to marrying her. I also had one previous marriage. Fast forward to a few months ago, I was filling out a passport document for her. It asked for our previous last names, so I Googled her. What popped up? Her divorce name, which I knew about, her maiden name, and another last name. So I dug some more, and I found a court record for this other marriage. I confronted her about that lie, which she wouldn't take ownership for. Fought with her for hours to get her to admit that she lied, and that it was wrong. During this conversation, I explained that I wasn't upset at the amount of previous marriages, now 2, when I only knew of 1, but I was upset about the lie. I made her promise that she wasn't hiding any other marriages, children, etc. She said, I swear on my mom and dad's lives. So I forgave her and I moved on. Well, just a few days ago, guess what your boy finds on the internet? There is another marriage that was hidden from me. Yep, yes. I confronted her. Again, she becomes defensive. She said things like, well, I didn't stop you from looking. And, lol, it's not that big of a deal. I was young. She's also lied about some other things. Small example, a photo of her sister was hanging on the wall. One day, I asked her which of her 2 sisters it was, and she flipped out on me, tore down all the photos, and threw them away. A few days later, she fessed up and said that it was actually her in the photo. What in the world? I told her that I wanted a divorce. I don't think that she believes me. I brought home divorce papers for her to sign, but she is refusing. She also stole the paperwork that I went to the courthouse to get and spent 2 hours filling out, and then manipulated me into agreeing to talk before giving them back. These are 3 of many lies, albeit these are the most significant lies, but there are more. This is a fraction of what I've been going through. I could write a book about all that she's put me through. So what's your take here? I need some advice. All right, folks, what's the advice that we have for OP?
Lawyer up. Now, I'm not sure where OP lives, but depending on the jurisdiction, he might actually be able to get an annulment for marrying under false pretenses. You know, if you don't disclose that you've been married, like, well, first of all, in your marriage certificate, you're supposed to disclose the number of previous marriages.
Yeah.
And so if she didn't disclose that, there might be issues legally. There might be an easy solution, but talk to a lawyer in your area who knows whether annulment is possible.
Yeah.
If not, I definitely recommend going the divorce route. And again, you're going to need a lawyer to help you here because she's uncooperative.
Yeah. So again, I think what Amber said here is probably the best option. If your jurisdiction, wherever you live, allows annulments under this kind of situation, then that's where you're going to go. Just get an annulment and be like, fine, we don't need a divorce, we're just annulling this marriage. And given that it's only 6 months into the relationship, I don't think you will have that much of a problem doing that. I mean, this is under a year. She lied to you, and she continues to lie to you. You want to get away from this person as fast as possible, honestly. She needs therapy. She needs to work on herself. I don't think that she's ready for marriage. And yeah, it's clear that she is hiding a lot of stuff from you. And who knows what else she is hiding from you. How do you hide a marriage from somebody?
Not just one, but two.
And then insist that you are not, haven't been married. And then more of them pop up, right? Yeah, so I think that there are probably other bigger things in her life that she may have lied about. And I don't know that you should be dealing with that. This is clearly not the person that you thought you married. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. Alright, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Wanting to Take a Promotion That My Significant Other Wanted? And this is actually posted by the same person who posted my fiance, a 35-year-old male, claims that I, a 26-year-old female, chose my job over him. And this was actually sent to me by Sakura, so thank you. My fiance is a 32-year-old male, and I, a 26-year-old female, work at the same job. He left about 2 years ago and then returned about a year ago. He did not leave on the best terms and was facing discipline. When he interviewed to come back, he wanted a higher ranking job than he was when he left. However, they did not select him, but they offered him the same rank that he was when he left. He accepted it. When that position opened again, he interviewed for it, but he did not receive it. After being rejected this time, he said that he was not putting back in for it. Well, a few months later, the position opened up again, and he put in for it. I also put in for it because I've been wanting to advance in my career. I told him that I put in for it, and we talked about the interview process. When I put in for it, I did not know that he did. We both attended our scheduled interviews and talked about how they went. Before the interviews, he talked about how he had changed his goals and was not interested in it and had thought about backing out. He talked about how he wanted to go on another route in his career. I encouraged him to do what he felt was right. He continued to talk about backing out up until the day of the interview. We were both recommended to the department head along with 2 other people. I was then called into the department head's office and I was offered the position. I did not accept then, and I asked if I could think about it. We both got home and I talked to him about it and I asked what he thought about it. He was very supportive in the way he responded and said that either decision I made would be a good choice. Well, when I returned to work, I accepted the offer. I didn't tell anyone that I had accepted it except for the department head. When I got home, he wouldn't talk to me. I had assumed that he had a bad day. I asked him what was wrong, and he continued to say nothing. At this point, I'm hurting because I really wanted to tell him that I had accepted it. The next day, he finally talks to me and said that he is upset that I took it. He said that it wasn't cool to go up against him and that I shouldn't have done that. He said that I should have communicated with him about it more and asked him how he felt. I responded by saying that we had talked about it almost every single day, especially since the interview date. I told him that if he really felt that way, that I would have backed out and declined the offer if he would have told me that. I had told him numerous times before that I wasn't going to be upset if I didn't get it. On the professional side of things, I know why he did not get selected for it, as I have much more qualifications and experience for it, and he has a lot of growing up to do. He always gets upset about work things because he thinks that he knows everything, and he is always involved in some type of drama. Currently, there is a rumor that he is sleeping around with his subordinates, the same ones that I told him not to trust. Sorry for the long post, but am I the jerk in this situation? I completely feel like I am and completely feel unsupported right now. Alright folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I mean, this man needs to learn to communicate. I don't think he is ready to be in a relationship. He is not acting like a mature adult.
Yeah.
I can understand being frustrated, like the very stressful situation if you went head to head against your partner for a promotion. Yeah. Like, that's understandable. But he fakes concern and support, and as soon as she takes the position, he flips the switch and is like, how could you have done this to me? You should have read my mind and known that I didn't want you to take this.
Yeah, so I want to point out that the original story that we had read, he was basically trying to propose to OP, right? Mm-hmm. And he wanted them to just take a random day off. And then he was going to not propose to her, but marry her.
Marry her at the courthouse,
at the courthouse, right? And he thinks that OP is putting too much time into her job. They have the same job. And it's clear that he doesn't take it seriously, and OP does take it seriously.
Yeah.
And we can see from these two posts that this guy really does not like value OP for one, right? And he also is treating her, I think, very, very poorly, and not really regarding her and not really respecting her, and then expecting her to read his mind. He's not communicating, and he's sleeping around behind OP. Is that? That's what is happening,
That's what it
right?
sounds like. Yeah, she says this is a rumor, but like, if the rumor's going around, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that this guy would be doing that.
OP, if there are rumors going around about your partner sleeping around with other people, maybe it's time to back out of this relationship. But maybe he is dragging you down. I don't think that this guy is a good fit for you. And I think that he needs a good dose of reality. I mean, you talk to him every step of the way. He's just being manipulative. And clear from the other post that he was just being manipulative there too.
Right. I mean, all in all, this guy does not seem like a good employee, a good partner, a good anything. He needs to work on himself, figure himself out before he can be in a relationship. And OP, you deserve better. You deserve someone who will be an honest communicator and not throw a fit when you have the audacity to work 5 days a week for 8 hours a day.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What music style do geodes prefer?
They prefer rock.
Yep.
Oh, that was the punchline?
Yeah.
Or rock and roll. It could be that because geodes are kind of round. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Wow, it's halfway through the week. It's almost time for the live stream. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please have it involve respect in relationships.
A good relationship requires mutual respect and trust and not treating your partner like something to profit off of or your child like something to profit off of. And yeah, also some open and honest communication. Let's put that in there too.
You know, those are all good things to have in relationships. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.